late at night. The city lights go out one by one, leaving only the faint glow of a monitor, casting a ghostly reflection on faces too tired to stop. It's a scene we know all too well in an endless cascade of emails, reports, and social media feeds. We feel like perpetual motion machines, fueled by caffeine and anxiety. We are told this is an unprecedented era of freedom and infinite possibility. But why is it that beneath the promise of infinite possibility, we feel an ever heavier set of shackles? This is the central paradox of our time. We tore down the visible walls, only to find ourselves trapped in a much larger invisible prison. To understand the architecture of this prison, we must examine a power paradigm that has quietly reshaped the way our society operates. The tyrannies of the past took the form of visible walls, precepts, and punishments. The disciplinary society described by Foucault shaped compliant bodies through the prohibitive command, "You shall not." Our society, however, has undergone an elegant and lethal paradigm shift. As diagnosed by the Korean-German philosopher Byung-Chul Han, this is the performance society. Its slogan is no longer "You shall not," but the seductive call, "You can." You can be anyone. You can achieve anything. Your potential is limitless. This mantra internalizes the external oppressor. We are no longer monitored by searchlights from high walls, but by our own insatiable, ever-watchful eyes. We have become our own overseers, our own judges, and ultimately, our own tyrants. Driven by this logic, the hustle culture, celebrated by elites in Europe, America, and across the globe, reveals its high cost beneath the glamour. From Silicon Valley to Wall Street, side hustles, lifelong learning, and self-optimization have become the new moral imperatives. Life itself has turned into a startup project, requiring meticulous management and infinite growth, with each of us as its CEO. We are no longer mobilized laborers. We are willing entrepreneurs of the self, squeezing out our last drops of energy just to stay ahead in a relentless race. If self-exploitation is a behavioral shackle, then a violence of positivity is a form of psychological torture. Open Instagram, LinkedIn, or any other social platform, and you are confronted with a meticulously constructed matrix of success. A recently completed marathon, a new round of funding, a perfect Mediterranean vacation, and faces that are always smiling and radiating positive energy. This incessant one-dimensional positivity is in fact a form of violence. It strips us of our right to experience sadness, anger, failure, and confusion. Any negative emotion is treated as a defect to be fixed. In this atmosphere, it takes tremendous courage to honestly admit, "I'm tired," or "I can't do it." And so, we wear the mask of "everything is fine," while our inner selves endure immense psychological attrition. The depression, anxiety, and burnout prevalent today are not proof of individual psychological weakness, but are the inevitable results of a system imposing itself upon the individual, a rejection response of the soul to an overdose of positivity. When burnout evolved from a medical term into our daily vernacular, it had already transcended mere physical fatigue. Burnout is the most honest betrayal of the eternal, accelerating performance imperative by our bodies and souls. It is a silent, passive, yet utterly resolute form of resistance. The recent global phenomena of the Great Resignation and quiet quitting are no accident. They are not signs of laziness in a new generation, but markers of a profound collective reassessment of values. When relentless running only leads to exhaustion, stopping becomes a form of liberation. People are using their actions to question a life where personal worth is completely tied to productivity. They are declaring, "I am first a living human being, and only second, a human resource. So, where's the way out? The answer may not lie in finding more efficient time management techniques, but in a complete revolution of our mindset. It requires us to step off the ceaseless, accelerating treadmill of the performance society, willingly and gracefully. We must affirm the sanctity of doing nothing. We must courageously reclaim sacred, useless time for our lives. This is not laziness, but a form of resistance, a refusal to allow every minute to be colonized by efficiency and purpose, carving out a space for the soul to breathe freely in a clamorous world. Perhaps this simply means taking a walk in the park without a phone or a destination, or allowing yourself to gaze out the window for a full 15 minutes on a rainy afternoon. We must once again cherish the other in all their charm. When we stop rushing to see others as connections to be leveraged or content to be consumed, we can truly begin to see and listen to an independent, rich soul who may even be at odds with us. This allows the world to stop being a mirror of ourselves and to become, once again, an encounter full of surprises. We must calmly embrace our finitude as human beings. We will discover that we cannot do everything. We will make mistakes, we will get tired, and we cannot and need not be responsible for everything. This is not failure. It is the act of taking off the heavy costume of a superhero and reconciling with our imperfect yet authentic selves. Perhaps this is reflected in the frank admission, I really need help with this project, instead of shouldering all the pressure alone. We stand at a crossroads. We can continue down the path paved by the performance society, accelerating toward a future that is more efficient and optimized, but also more alienated and exhausting. Or we can choose to listen to the whispers of our burnt-out souls and begin an inward revolution. This revolution is not about overthrowing anything, but about reclaiming our original state as human beings, creatures who have the right to be tired, to rest, and to be imperfect. Perhaps the greatest achievement of our era will not be replacing more human jobs with AI, but humanity finally learning how to liberate itself from the identity of human capital